Backscratchers Salon Systems. We're here at Polished Nail Bar today with Aaliyah. And
so this product seems like it'll be a lot easier and a lot faster to use. I heard that it will take only about 30 minutes to put it on, and I do believe that because it's so fast and it's so easy to do.
And we're going to demonstrate the Backscratchers Extreme product today. It's an acrylic dip system that's done very fast and very efficiently. So we're going to get started. And the first thing that I usually do is we go with our foam aseptic. This is our hand sanitizer. You just go ahead and flip it up, flip your hand over. Then the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set up our SEPTA file system. We have a nice system here of our SEPTA files. It's what it is peel off the abrasive backing, place it onto the file, and then you're going to be good to go. When you're all going to do that, and then you're going to go to the next step, and that would be our hygienic elegance. The hygienic elegance is the primer of the product, so you do want to use this. If you skip it, your product could lift, and it could also seal in bacteria into the nail. Because this is a non-porous system, you want to release the bacteria out. What it does is it pH balances the moistures and oils to a 5.5 balance, which is normal, and it also again reduces any bacteria that's in that nail plate out. So after we do that, you're going to 600 grit the natural nail. 600 is really fine, so of course you're not going to etch up this nail at all, and that's what I like, is that you don't need to etch it up. Okay, so then you're going to start with our base resin. Our base resin is a little bit thicker, so it's your tip application resin and protecting the nail. What we do is we base the nail twice with the resin and the spray to protect that nail bed before we apply a tip. So you're just going to put that on like polish, of course. Okay, so after you go ahead and put on your base resin, just spray the nail. And you don't need a lot. A lot of people will overspray. You don't need to do that because it's chemicals. It's going to comply and bond when it needs to on the time frame. So again, you do that step twice. You're basing the nail again. After you do that, you go with our tips. I got some samples for you guys too. These are our Nuvo Natural tips. We just redesigned them. They have more of a weld attached to the nail. They have a nicer C-curve, which makes it really nice too. Everybody's loving them, but our tips are made with ABS plastic. They have flexibility to them because our product flexes. You want a tip to flex. Now we're going to go ahead and use a 240 grit file, and we're just going to buff the free edge where that tip's going to go. Just lightly. We don't want to remove what we put on. We're just going to etch it up lightly, and you could shape it to a nice little C-curve as well if you need to be. What we do is we apply our base resin to the nail bed where the tip's going to be applied, not in the well of that tip because it can hold a lot of resin that you'll have a mess to clean up usually on the sides. And then usually I just place the tip depending on the arch of their nail if you rock it or not. Then we're going to go ahead and seal that seam. Make sure it's secured, and then you spray. These tips are a non-blending tip, so what you do is after you clip it, you're just going to seal that seam one more time. Then you're just going to shape the free edge lightly with a 240 grit. And again, since it's a non-blending tip, I'm going to seal up that seam one more time right in front of the tip with the base resin. And then you'll be ready for product application. And the dust, and then again, one more base. And I do it right above the tip because it brings the natural nail up to the level of that tip. And it also gives it a little bit of an arch that people are wanting in their nails there too. Makes it nice. And you can do that a couple times if they want more of an arch as well. So after you do that, you're going to go ahead and get out your powder. We're going to use the clear today, but you can use pink and white as well if need to be. And our nail dipper. This is really cool. And as you can see right now, there's very low odor, and we're going to be working with the acrylic here, so you're going to see the difference on that. Not too bad?
Yeah. It smells nice. It smells clean.
Yeah, it's nicer. Sometimes people use this even with our fiberglass system because it's aerosol versus pump, but this also leaves a smoother finish. The pump leaves more pits and pockets in there. Okay, so now that we're going to work with our acrylic powder, you're going to go with our finish resin. The finish resin is a little bit thinner to absorb the powder. So if you're using the base and you get some bubbles in it because it's just too thick of a resin, so you definitely want to pick it up with the finish. And all you do is you're going to coat that nail, the entire nail, makes it nice. I usually leave my brush about 1/16 of an inch away from the cuticle and the sidewalls because your nail's shaped, it will flow down in there, it's self-leveling. You're going to bend your knuckle and go into the powder. Just bend your knuckle and dip. Yep, bend the knuckle like that. There you go, and dip in there. And then I usually just tap it off a little bit there. You picked up some powder. Now sometimes I'll do this step twice, usually, especially if it's a new set. So you take your finish resin, you stroke over the powder a little bit, and this is where I use my neat and tidies before I go back into the bottle. That way I don't get no powder in that bottle. I'm going to do just a little bit more resin. I look for a shiny surface before I dip. If it's not shiny, then it's not enough resin on there. Go ahead and dip one more time. You just do it lightly. You know, sometimes if they do it too hard, it may push it to the side, so you could show them the first time. And I'm notorious for cleaning their round just a little bit. So after you do that, oh, okay.
Okay.
So after we dip the second time, you're going to go ahead with your finish resin, and you're going to cover the powder. And again, I usually look for a shiny effect before I know I'm finished with my finished resin. So if it has a shiny effect, then you covered that powder enough. Brush off your brush. And then what we do at this time, you don't file, because if you file, you're going to file right into your product, of course. So what you do is you go ahead and do your finished resin over the powder. And you can also use your base resin if you want. I kind of use the finished resin, and I could do it twice, or I just do it really a little bit thicker than normal to get that coat covered. So you just judge what you need to do a little bit. And then I'm going to let this dry. It usually gives kind of an orange peel effect when you know it's set up. And I'm going to have you guys feel the nail before I file it, so you can see that I'm only going to do a little bit of filing around the cuticle and the sides and a little of the free edge. It's self-leveling, so if you just brush it on, it goes on like polish, and it's easy, less filing to do. Sometimes I'll just take a white block, because our white blocks are 240 grit, and I'll just buff out the white block, and then I'm ready to go with my sealer. That's what I like. I've been doing nails for 22 years now, and I don't like to do a lot of time's money, so I like fast and easy things, and I don't like to waste my arm either. So this is a nicer way to use an acrylic. You know, it's just the new easy way, less odor, less damaging to the nail. So there's a lot of benefits with this system. And then you go with our sealer. The sealer works on all kinds of systems. It's one of the favorites out there on the market. Everybody buys this out at the show. It seals off the nail. It doesn't come off with polish remover. It does come off with acetone, but it stays shiny up until your client gets back. They love it. And what's fun about it too is if you dry the polish completely and put this over the polish, it keeps polish on really nice as well. And it also glows in black light, I found out. So if you're having fun and you want something to stand out, use the sealer. It has UV inhibitors in it, which makes it really nice. Doesn't yellow. So a lot of people do use it over other systems out there. I usually put you under a nail dryer, maybe 3 minutes, but it air dries 3 to 5 minutes, no problem. And that's that system, you guys.
Right now we're using the regular acrylic powder where you put the tip on and apply the acrylic with the brush and then use the drill and things of that nature. Well, the products that we're using, it takes sometimes 45 minutes to an hour and a half to apply the product if we don't use the drill. and for the first time that I've seen it, it's very nice, it's very clean. It seems like it doesn't damage the nail as much as an acrylic from, putting the tip and gluing it and doing all that other